Hello, and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Nancy Drew, The Haunted Carousel. Chapter 4, Danger in the Dark. Nancy and Ned gaped in amazement. The effect was almost as if the carousel had magically come to life in the middle of the night. What happened? Ned exclaimed. Did those two spooks start it up? No, they weren't even near the controls. In fact, they almost fell off when the merry-go-round and started running. I think they were caught by surprise and scared. Here, see for yourself, Ned. Nancy handed him the binoculars. By now, a few lights were coming on the park trailers as the carousel music blared out through the night stillness. Then the two dark figures abruptly fled. I'm going after them, Ned blurted. He sprang to his feet, leapt across the chain barrier enclosing in the amusement park area, and headed in pursuit. Nancy followed close behind. The two mysterious intruders were running away from the carousel in the opposite direction from Ned and Nancy's stakeout position. So far, the only lights in the park were those turned on the campers and trailers belonging to the concessionaires and ride operators. Already, the two fugitives were disappearing into the darkness. Nancy paused for a moment as Leo Novak came running up. Evidently, he had dressed in haste and not even taking the time to pull out a jacket or other top over his undershirt. He looked both startled and angry, but his eyes widened in surprise on seeing the pretty teenager. Where did you come from? He demanded. A friend and I were keeping watch, she said briefly, over there among the trees. See anything? Yes, two men came up to the carousel. Did they monkey with it? I don't think so, at least not with the operating machinery. They seem to be interested in the horses, but you better make sure everything's all right. Without bothering to explain further, Nancy resumed running after Ned and the two intruders. Her last glimpse of the boy had been as he veered off to the left behind the Ferris wheel, but now he too was no longer in sight. From the direction Ned had been heading, Nancy guessed that his pursuit of the fugitives must have taken him between the video game arcade and a row of refreshment counters. She ran the same way. Beyond loomed an array of booth stands and rides that made up the gaudy heart of the park's midway. Just now there was a maze of gloom and shadows. Where had Ned gone? Nancy could hear running footsteps somewhere in the distance, but it was hard to judge the exact direction the sound was coming from. She could only plunge forward at random, zigzagging among the concessions, hoping to catch a glimpse of her vanished friend. At first, she had been reluctant to call out his name for fear of alerting the sinister prowlers. But as her worries grew for his safety, Nancy threw a caution to the wind and shouted, Ned! Ned, can you hear me? Where are you? Her heart flew into her mouth as she rounded the corner of a shuttered souvenir stand and almost tumbled over something lying on the ground. The obstacle, barely visible in the semi-darkness, felt bulky enough to be a human form. At that moment, someone switched on the overhead lights of the midway. Nancy gasped in fear as she saw a figure at her feet. It was Ned, sprawling motionless on the ground. Ned, Ned, she cried, dropping on his knee. What happened? Are you all right? She turned him over and touched the forehead on his cheek. He stirred and his eyes opened. With a faint groan, Ned struggled to his feet. Wow, he muttered, rubbing the back of his head. Someone must have conked me. Maybe you'd better rest a while, Nancy urged anxiously. Ned gave her a quick hug and a sheepish grin. Don't worry, I'm okay, he reassured her. I don't think I was out there more than a few seconds. In any case, further pursuit seemed useless. After a quick circuit of the amusement park area, the couple gave up their chase of the two intruders and returned to Ned's car. Next morning, the young sleuth slept later than usual. When she came downstairs, a copy of the River Heights News was lying on the sofa. Nancy's eye was caught by her own picture on the front page. The accompanying story told how the famous girl detective had accepted the newspaper's challenge to solve the mystery of the Haunted Carousel. Oh, you've seen it already. I was going to show it to you, Nancy. Hannah Groom, the Drew's motherly housekeeper, came into the living room from the kitchen. wiping her hands on her apron, saw the teenager reading the newspaper article. Yes, it really puts me on the spot, Nancy commented ruefully. In more ways than one, said Hannah. Our phone's been ringing all morning. Thank goodness. It didn't wake you? Who is calling? My goodness, I don't know. Some were cranks, I guess. Everyone wanted to tell you how to solve the carousel mystery. Hannah, you should have put on the answering machine. That's just what I finally did, dear. Oh, wait a minute, the housekeeper added. There was one sensible call. A girl who gave her name, Joy Trent. She wants you to solve a private mystery for her. Just then, there was a knock on the front door, and a familiar face called it in. Nancy, it's me, Bess. Oh, just a minute, Nancy said, getting up and going to the door. The pretty girl looked bright-eyed and eager as she accompanied Nancy into the living room from the front hall. What's going on? She inquired keenly. I tried to call you this morning, but I kept getting busy signals. I couldn't get through, so I came over and invited to a cookout at my place tonight. Hello, Mrs. Gruen. Bess finished in a rush. How would you like some breakfast? The housekeeper responded with a twinkle. Bess, Nancy. Sounds good to me. Bess laughed. Actually, I did have a nibble when I first got up, but that was quite a while ago. Nancy turned to the housekeeper. Never mind, Hannah. We'll just pop into the kitchen and get something for ourselves. After making a leisurely breakfast of waffles with blueberry syrup and sausages and coffee, Bess and Nancy washed the dishes and made the kitchen tidy again. Bess, how would you like to come to the amusement park with me? Nancy asked as she took off the apron she had donned for their dishwashing tour. We won't be long. Then I'll drive you home. Sure, sounds great. On the way, Nancy told Bess of her and Ned's adventure in the park the night before. Oh, golly, is Ned okay? Bess inquired sympathetically. He seemed to be, thank heavens. Luckily, he was only hit hard enough to stun him. Honestly, Nancy, do you get into the wildest adventures? The teenage sleuth chuckled. Not on purpose, believe me, but at least that's better than getting bored, isn't it? Anyway, that's why I'm going to the park. I'd like to see if I can find out what those two sneaks were doing on the carousel last night. As noontime neared, the limiting parking space outside the amusement park entrance were already filling up with cars. So Nancy tuned into the nearby marina lot as Ned done the night before. Then she and Bess headed back on foot to the carousel. Soon after they arrived at the amusement park area, Bess nudged her companion and pointed to the right. A park policeman was waving at them. He's the one who went after those pickpockets yesterday, the plump girl exclaimed. Yeah, his name's Officer Doyle, Nancy murmured. I wonder what's up. He looks like he wants to talk to us. They met the policeman halfway. He was accompanied by a hard... Say, you were mighty lucky yesterday, Nancy, Officer Doyle greeted the teenager. Maybe you didn't realize, but when you tangled with those crooks in the park, you were really flirting with danger. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.